Yeah, I figured if I did stop doing interesting and fun things, I'd probably just end up in the bar way longer than I should be.
Well, that sounds like a dangerous path to go down, but Martin Lesperance has a permanent reminder on his arm warning, "Don't let the old man in." The former Alberta paramedic turned safety speaker turned YouTuber has a ton of crazy stories from responding to emergencies. But first, Martin starts with his own wild cross Canada adventure story.
Actually, there was myself and three buddies, and this was in Elmwood. We were at the LaSalle Hotel. So people in Winnipeg know the LaSalle Hotel. That was our corner bar type of thing. And we said, we should go learn how to ski. Okay, well, so here's four guys from Winnipeg that don't have a clue. And we bought this old milk truck for $200, put a wood stove in it, and put some bunks in. And we drove out to the mountains to Jasper, where we are going to learn how to ski. And we lived in that truck for about a year, the four of us. Things are different then. And I guess they call that RV living now, but it was RV living before it was RVs. And we all ended up staying out west, and I ended up working for as dishwasher, chambermaid, everything like that, and then got on with Parks Canada, and ended up living by the Columbia ice fields for about 4 years, 5 years, and got interested in this pre-hospital care because when accidents would happen, the park wardens would call the maintenance guys too, and like for traffic control and to help out because everybody back then was flying by the seat of their pants. It's not like a medical service now or an ambulance service now. And I kind of thought this is interesting. I wanted to pursue that. So I had to finish some courses and courses that I never took before in high school because schooling wasn't really high priority at the time. So it just kind of happened. Like I never set out to decide. Okay, well, no, I guess I did. Okay, I'm going to really learn the speaking craft. So I could spread some of the important messages I've learned working as a paramedic, and I could put that out to different companies because they would use that. So once I decided I was going to do that, then I kind of went full bore into doing it, and the speaking didn't start off very nice. Like, it was terrible, but I was persistent. So and I was lucky enough to discover things that I liked doing, like I mentioned before, like I had a first aid training company and I designed my own company. And then I started writing these books and ended up on the speaking circuit. And then from there, I kind of said, well, geez, this is fun. And I made some videos, experimented with that. And I says, this is a lot of fun. So the whole learning curve hasn't really stopped, because I really like, I guess, learning stuff I'm interested in. And now there's so easy to find different things that you're interested in, with the internet and with YouTube. You could be doing all kinds of things. If you really want to do something, just get out there and really do it, and push. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. At least you tried. And you might be really surprised. That might lead you into other things. And that's exactly what happened with me, like with writing the books, making the videos, and now because I'm an older adult, I'm focusing on older adults now. Safety, health and safety for older adults. And it's fun. I'm learning a lot when I'm doing this. I'm a bit of a Luddite with that. Like I can do what I need to do, like with the video editing, I can do that. But everything else, like I'm kind of a slow learner with that. It's not like I'm embracing how to use my phone. Like there's so many things I probably use about 10% of what I can do with the phone. Well, no, I'm more than that because I use it for videos and pictures all the time. But I usually use it for a phone. Yeah, I got that probably about 5 years ago. And when I got on this working like for older adults and that, I, I I did like a lot of research on this, and then Clint Eastwood is one of my heroes. Like the guy is, I think he's what 94 now, but when he was 93, he was still acting in movies and directing. And I know people that have actually worked with him, filming out by Canmore for some of his movies, Unforgiven. I know people that worked on the set there, and they said he was just such an easygoing guy. And he's getting up in years. He was in Mystic River. He wrote the music for that. That was a movie with Sean Penn, plus directing it and everything else. Like, the guy's amazing. And so one day, him and Toby Keith, the country singer who unfortunately died of, I think it was pancreatic cancer, not that within last year. And they're friends and they're talking. He says, "Clint, what are you doing next week?" He says, "Well, I'm starting a new movie." And he says, "Geez, how do you do this? You're getting up in the world, and you're getting up in age, and you're still doing this stuff like you were, 20 years ago." He says, "Well, when I wake up every morning, I just decide I'm not going to let the old man in." And Toby Keith kind of ran with that, and he wrote a song called "Don't Let the Old Man In," and it's the last song in the movie The Mule that Clint Eastwood was starring in and plus directed. And that kind of really stuck with me. He says, "Don't let the old man in." So I one day went down to a tattoo shop and just got that put on. And so now maybe I feel like, okay, maybe I don't feel like working out, or maybe I'll just not do anything today. Or it's a little bit of a reminder for me. I've had a lot of people come up to me like this who I don't know. They would just say, "Hey, could I see that in this? I got to get my dad to get that, or yeah, I got to get my mom to get something like that put on." So, yeah, well, just find something that you're very interested in, because to get motivated in doing something that you really don't care about, that's not going to work. But, whatever, like I mentioned before on YouTube, you want to read about the history of World War II. There's a crazy amount of information there. You could, on YouTube, you could see old Bob Dylan singing. You could see Eric Clapton, Chuck Berry, and jamming in a basement somewhere. Like, the world is out there. There's so much stuff, and educational stuff too. And just find something that you're interested in and pursue it. You don't have to make money from it. You just have fun learning. Yeah, just have fun. We'd show up, we'd have our kits with us, and you just look, and the place, it's a very tiny apartment. The air conditioning is broken down. The person health wise isn't doing very well. And this is their life. Like, it's going to be the same thing tomorrow and the day after. And it was then when I decided, personally, like, I really want to do everything I can so I don't end up in that position. So I kind of still see those pictures, yeah, and a lot of them just had different circumstances. Maybe they didn't have the support, maybe they didn't have the drive. But I wouldn't say it's never too late, because you can always start moving forward. You could always start doing something. And
coming here.
Perfect. In here, like, you got the social aspect, and that's one of the best things you can do to help delay or ward off dementia, is having a social network, having friends. And here at the Kerby Centre, you could definitely find a lot of people to be friends with, and a lot of interesting things to do.